And the first one is something I call an identity piece, so I think it's a work in progress, and I hope to keep adding to it as and when I travel and make new places my home. I hope you enjoy it. She said to me, "Oh my God, I would love to go to India." And I remember thinking, no you wouldn't. I've never felt more Indian than when I left the country of my birth. Never realized my skin was brown or that our accents are generously coupled with copious amounts of head bobbing. I didn't realize that Indians smell like curry. And while the average white man or woman boasts of having tried authentic butter chicken at least once in their lifetime, that is still a bad thing. Travel, such a phenomenal process of letting go and letting in and learning. I do not believe that you can adequately find India on the pages of a Lonely Planet or a half-an-hour segment on National Geographic and cooking shows and recipe books. To experience India, you have to take that 17-hour flight and arrive. Bag full of antibiotics and sprays and a mind like a wide-eyed canvas. Every city in India is magnanimously different from the next. I have not yet fully experienced all of India. I come from Goa, the land of my lineage and not my birth. I've spent many a lazy evening and much of my youth returning to the beaches and the food and the language that I'm most comfortable with. A language without a script, without a future, one that relies on its people to pass it on. And so I say to you, Maje na Rochelle, ao goinkar, tunka dio bore koru. Yes, the beer is probably cheaper than water. Everything's a bar first and a restaurant is an afterthought. The green is explosive. The blue is majestic. We're a people of carnivals, of siestas and fiestas, of fishermen and rice fields and streets lined with churches and chapels as far as the eye can see. Kinda like Melbourne is lined with cafes. And yet, I also belong to Bombay, my mother and my father, the city of dreams and of my birth, the Indian equivalent of New York City, the place that grew me up and amazed me, that continues to amaze me. A city with vibrancy and soul, a resilient people who are not fazed by bomb blasts or poverty or population or pollution. I've hung from trains not knowing whether I'd reach my destination, not caring that I was covered in sweat and grime. It's the thrill of being a common man in Bombay, exchanging life stories and misgivings with a stranger about the uneducated lesser mortals that govern our lives and our policies. I don't know anyone in Bombay on a diet, or anyone who can successfully diet. I tell her about golas, like snow cones, but with flavors that would put Baskin-Robbins to shame. Yes, we eat our fruit with chilies and lime and have at least 25 breakfast options. And no, cereal is not an option. It's more of a last resort. I belong to Bangalore. I'm a South Indian at heart in the sing-song baritone love for art and culture, filter coffee drinking, theatre loving sort of way. And yet, the most difficult phases of my life happened in Bangalore. But the friends that I made in a new city filled with strange dialects still remain. And today, I can proudly cuss in roughly 7 of the 29 officially recognized Indian languages. Mother chochu dia sala tika mujhur hoga maire dodi ria cherecha tindi patti foti ganda thu. When I left to chase rainbows and greener pastures, I left behind an old man in the shape of 2 cataract-ridden eyes that wouldn't stop smiling. I left the first home that I had ever made, the first job I'd ever had, and all the others that ensued. I left, not knowing if I would ever return. On dark days, I go back to being a passenger on Vinayak's Royal Enfield, the Indian version of a Harley. As he drove me home after a 13-hour day at work, I can still feel the cool wind hit me as we turned that corner on the Kormangla Ring Road, like driving through a freezer for 5 seconds. I belong to India, the Land of my ancestry, a country of promise and growth, of hurdles and crushing red tape. Everything is 10 times harder in India, and yet we persevere. The struggle for identity within a population of 1.2 billion people seems so silly now. I've never been more sure of my values than when I left the country of my birth, never been more sure of who I am and what I stand for. Back bent over a bucket of clothes to be washed, back bent to breaking point, I found strength amid soap suds and brown stains and wrinkled fingers that could scrub no more. Today, I stand before you with access to a washing machine, a dryer, a dishwasher, and a bed. My fingers are soft. They press buttons, they hold hands, they write poetry. I look at them for signs of who I am, search their creases for the weight from grocery bags, test their might with the occasional hanging steady on a tram. Hold a bar of soap and think about how far I really am. While the water flows effortlessly out of taps and flows counterclockwise down a silver ring, I belong to Australia. I'm part of a diaspora, part of an evolving landscape. I'm just a part of you.